Afternoon and welcome to our third program panel. Today I'm joined by our transportation and logistics instructors, Nathan Shipley, Billy Bird, and Tim Chase. We're going to ask a series of questions. This information should be supplemental to the information that's provided already on our website. In the video tab, it would be listed in our general information session. But it should also be supplemental to just the general program information and overview videos that are on each program specific website. So I want to give each instructor a moment to introduce themselves. So why don't we go ahead and start with Billy Bird and our automotive collision program.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Bird. I teach the automotive collision repair program at Herndon Career Center. Here at Herndon Career Center, we have a 2-year program where students coming in will learn the basics in dent repair, damage analysis, repair automotive structure alignment, and welding. Second year, when you come back, you'll be working with modern automotive paints, both solvents and the new technology, which is water-based, paint booth repair, complete refinish, small repairs, as well as the latest refinish equipment like HVLP paint guns and all the equipment a painter would use.
All right, thank you. And automotive technology with Mr. Chase.
My name is Mr. Chase. I teach automotive technology. This is my 25th year teaching automotive technology. I worked in the business and since I've been a junior in high school, and I ran my own business for 15 years before I came here. So I'm from industry. I've enjoyed teaching young students how to get into this industry and to, how to work on their own cars and also make a career out of it.
All right. Next, we'll go to Nathan Shipley and diesel technology.
I'm Nathan Shipley. I teach the Diesel Industrial Agricultural Mechanics program. It is a 2-year program. Generally, the first year's students, we touch on basic electrical, basic air conditioning, basic engine components and parts and repair. Second year generally gets a little more advanced, more in depth in those subjects. We do a lot from agricultural tractors to construction equipment to over-the-road semi trucks, and we try to cover every aspect of all of them. We definitely cover the electrical, the air conditioning, the tires, steering, suspension. When it comes to construction equipment, we'll focus more towards hydraulics and the powertrains. Then we also do a lot of basic shop skills, what we'll call. We do learning to run an arc welder, a MIG welder, cutting torches, how to solder electrical wiring, how to remove broken bolts. So that's just a kind of quick overview of our first years and second year students.
All right, thank you. So those are pretty diverse curriculum objectives in all of your programs. Can you touch base a little more on some of those core topics that you might cover throughout the course of the year? Let's go to Billy Bird.
Absolutely. We always start new students with small dent repair. They jump right into small dent repair. From there, we'll move them on to fiberglass and plastic repairs. They'll get into welding. They'll learn to run a MIG welder safely. Automotive painting, we do everything from small damage to complete repaints. They'll actually even get involved in some custom body adapting or show car. We're building a tuner car currently in the program. Looking forward to that. Airbrush, they'll move into airbrush and do more custom painting with airbrush. Electrical repairs, everything from airbag systems to electrical systems to the audio systems, anything that would be damaged in a collision. And then, of course, good old fiberglass repair.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Mr. Chase?
Well, I like to look at it in terms of 2 years. We try to cover in the 2-year time period all 8 ASE certification areas. Let's see if I can run through them real quick. That would be engine repair, engine performance, brakes, steering and suspension, air conditioning, automatic transmission, manual transmission, and electricity. I think I hit all 8 of them there. And those are the core topics. Basically, we'll hit some of them more than others because we just don't have quite enough time to cover all of them completely. But for first year students, I'm really interested in getting them some employability skills, some entry level skills that they could go out and get a job, because that's the best way to get the experience, is to get a job. And then second year students, I really want to get them more into the higher functioning or the more complex topics and working on cars, computer systems, engine repair, machining, stuff like that. So we cover all the areas, and hopefully that gives you an idea of what you might want to specialize in, or if you want to just be a general mechanic and cover all of them when you go out and work somewhere.
Definitely does help. Thank you. All right, and Nathan Shipley for diesel.
So we generally start our year off with both the first and second year students doing just our basic shop skills section, which is kind of a refresher for the second year students, but it could be new subject for the first year students. And we'll start off learning how to run an arc welder, how to run a MIG welder, how to use a cutting torch, and how to drill and remove broken bolts. Then we also do soldering of wires. After that, it depends what year we're on, because I have mixed classes. I have first and second year students both in the same class. So I try to cover about 4 subjects one year, and then the following year cover another 4 subjects. So depending on what year we're on, we might go into basic engines, which is disassembling the engine, inspecting the components, and then reassembling it. With the second year students, we might go into engine machining, which would be either you're boring the engine block, you're cleaning, inspecting the parts, completely reconditioning the cylinder head and surfacing that, grinding, polishing the crankshafts. So we'll use our equipment in our shop to go through the complete engine machining section. We do transmissions, which are power shift type transmissions, which basically ends up being an automatic transmission in a vehicle. The sort we'll go through and completely disassemble and inspect those, and then reassemble them to the proper specifications. We'll cover the air conditioning, electrical systems, and pre-delivery inspection, a PDI, and a PMI, which is a preventive maintenance inspections.
All right, that's a really detailed answer. Thank you. Programs at Herndon Career Center are really diverse and different in what instruction looks like in a normal year. Can you just give an overview for those watching and listening, how time is spent in your classroom between instruction, projects and labs, and classwork? And Mr. Bird?
Sure. Once a student has passed his or her safety requirements, we'll spend 1 day a week in a classroom learning about collision theory and working on our certifications. The other 4 days we spend in the shop working with our hands-on with equipment and cars. The more hands-on we can do, the better. And that's always my preference.
A very succinct answer. Mr. Chase?
Well, if I had to put a percentage to it for first year students in a normal year, I would say the first year students are probably in the classroom or watching me demonstrate equipment or demonstrate procedures 60 to 70% of the time. They're working on cars, whether it's shop cars or their own cars, at 30 to 40% of the time. We try and do as much demonstration, try to stay out of lecture as much as possible, to do more demonstration on procedures and equipment, how to use different pieces of equipment as much as possible. But it's just the nature of the beast. There's just so much information that you have to learn, that there has to be some in class, some lecture, to get that information as quickly as possible. And then we try and go out and put it into practice out in the shop. And then, and then second year students, they're going to be working more on customer cars and on the more advanced subjects. So I would have to say they're probably in the shop 80 to 90% of the time, practicing the skills that they got the first year. So they'll have some classroom work, you know, that 20% maybe, but we try and give them a lot more hands-on experience out in the shop.
All right, thank you. All right. And Nathan Shipley.
Incoming students, we can expect probably for the first month of school, we're going to spend it pretty much in the classroom. We're going to cover expectations, classroom expectations, school expectations. We're going to cover our safety and a basic general safety. Even every subject we touch on has certain safety aspects to it, and I like to cover all those with the students to begin with. After that, we're probably more similar to Mr. Bird's class, where we'll run about a 75-25%. So about 25% of the time will be in classroom, and about a 75% will be actually hands-on in the lab area, practicing what we've done in the classroom.
All right, thank you. Can each of you touch base on what industry recognized credentials students can earn through your program and the value of that certification as students enter the workforce? And we'll start with automotive collision with Mr. Bird.
Students graduating from the Herndon Career Center and the Collision Repair Program will earn certifications in the ICAR Pro Level 1 Body Non-Structural. They'll earn ICAR Pro Level 1 Refinish. They'll also end up with the OSHA 10-hour safety card, as well as up and coming the ICAR Welding Steel and ICAR Welding Aluminum. These certifications are money in your pocket. By hiring you, a shop can save as much as $5,000 in training for their shop techs. They'll also show the hiring shop you have a solid base in the collision basics.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chase?
The industry credential we earn that the students can earn it's called ASE. They've just changed that. I used to just call it entry-level certification, but I'm not quite sure, but it is an ASE student certification that they can earn, and they can earn 8 of the different areas, the 8 areas that I mentioned, plus they can earn what's called maintenance and light repair and automotive technology certification. So there's 10 certifications altogether that they can earn. They're good for 2 years after they graduate. And I have had students take those certifications and go out and get a job because they had those certifications. They can present those to an employer, and it just gets your foot in the door compared to just someone coming off the street. So they're very beneficial, and it's really been nice to be able to offer those certifications to our students for the past few years.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Shipley for diesel.
With diesel, it's a little different. It all depends really on the career path the student wants to take, whether he wants to go into agricultural, whether he wants to go into construction equipment, or over-the-road type trucking industry. We also have the ASE student certifications as our IRCs as well. Students can score high enough and get the student certificates, which will display to the potential employer what their skill level or their understanding is. One I do like for the students to take is an ASE 509 certificate, which allows them to purchase and handle refrigerants, because all air conditioning systems are going to have a certification to purchase and properly charge and discharge and recover air conditioning systems. So as far as other certifications, we have several hundreds of different certificates a student can achieve. It's just basically kind of depends on what career path they want to take.
Yeah, definitely important to individualize that educational experience. And that really does kind of lead me into the next question, which is about post-secondary opportunities for students. So what type of opportunities do students pursue out of your programs, and how do you make sure you're helping them achieve those goals? Mr. Bird?
We have articulated agreements with Longview and Kansas City Community College, as well as working with trade schools around the country like Lincoln Tech. And Herndon Career Center is the collision part of the Longview Associate's Degree Program. If you're in the Associate's Degree Program, you would come to Herndon for that piece of your degree. If college is not your thing, we work extensively with local shops where students can directly enter the workforce. I receive calls all the time asking if I have students that would like a job as an apprentice. We also have great internship programs where second-year students can get class credit for working in the shops and getting paid.
Thank you. Mr. Chase?
I've seen post-secondary students do everything from going straight to work to going to college to get some post-secondary training. I've seen them go into all different, they might go into automotive training, they might go into diesel training in post-secondary. So I've seen my students take a lot of different paths after they graduate. We try and have employers come in and talk to them. We have recruiters from schools come in and talk to them to try and help them decide what it is. Do they want more training? Do they want to go straight to work? Because some guys are just tired of school and they want to go straight to work, and that opportunity is there. So a lot of different pathways they could go into. I had a student that went to Longview after. He did really well in the electricity and electronics. He went to Longview for a year, and then he joined I believe it's the Air Force, and he went, they put him, he got training in more electronics and electricity, and he went and started doing maintenance at missile silos all over North America. And so it was really interesting to have him come back and tell some of the stories. He'd go in for a week at a time and do the maintenance on these intercontinental missiles. So the opportunities are there to do just about anything you want to do once you get some basic training.
Well, it sounds like quite the opportunity. All right, and Mr. Shipley for diesel.
Well, once again, you kind of hit on the subjects there, but it comes back down to what exactly the student wants to do for a career path, because as you were stating as well, that each dealer or manufacturer has their own training. I do have articulated agreements with State Technical College, or it used to be Lynn State Technical College in Missouri. They have on campus a medium heavy truck program. They have an international truck program. They have a Caterpillar program. A lot of my students really, for some reason, want to go work for Caterpillar, or they want to go work on semi trucks. I try to steer them more to that school because it's close to home, and if they have a A+, they accept A+ there. Students wanting to go more into a construction equipment other than Caterpillar or an agricultural dealership, I generally try to steer them more towards Southeast Community College in Milford, Nebraska. That's a very, very good school in the United States, and they do a lot of John Deere technician programs. So if they're going John Deere construction or John Deere ag, I generally have to try to steer them more towards Milford School for that type of training. So it all kind of comes back to what career path they want to take as to what school I'd suggest they look into.
Can you just elaborate a little bit more, Mr. Shipley, about your students who end up not going to school and what types of careers and on-the-job training they've found?
A lot of students who end up not going on to post-secondary, they a lot of times I kind of help put them in a position through possibly an internship. A lot of them end up working in companies for like custom truck, one source. They work for smaller construction companies, and they end up generally working on construction equipment or the trucking industry. So it's not that they have to have the formal training through a post-secondary or a advanced degree for it. They can learn a lot on the job training.
All right, thank you for elaborating just a little bit. What students come into programs at Herndon Career Center with a lot of different ideas about what the program is going to look like. What are some preconceived notions that students have come into your program with? Mr. Bird?
Students often think that when you talk about collision repair that it's not technical. They think it's paint and body, just pounding out dents. But with the addition of modern technology like airbags, lane position technology, autonomous driving cars, they're as technical as ever. The steels and composites like carbon fiber is nothing short of what you would find in the space shuttle or Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket. This is a job to repair them when people crash them. A lot of students think they're not allowed to work on their cars. I encourage students working on their own cars, assuming that it fit the curriculum at the time. It's thought that a lot of ladies can't come into the collision industry. Well, it's actually full of ladies as high production painters to estimators to shop owners. Lot of preconceived stuff that we like to flush out when they come in.
Thank you. Mr. Chase?
Well, I'm not real sure of an answer on that. Other than that, if they think that it's going to be all straight, hands-on, that we're just going to be out in the shop, cars are just too expensive nowadays to just turn someone loose on them without some kind of, initial training, something, some lecture, some demonstration. It's not a hobby shop. We're trying to get you a job. And so we're going to do the training that's necessary to make you a safe and competent mechanic.
All right, diesel technology and Mr. Shipley.
I'd say probably the biggest misconception the students walk into is they think all they're going to do is work on diesel engines. That's what they expect when they came in, and I got to tell them, you're probably not going to get much of a job if all you can do is work on an engine, because there's a lot more to all of it. Either it's construction or agricultural or semi trucks. You have to know how to fix the electrical side of it, have to fix the air conditioning, the steering, the suspension, the hydraulics, the air brakes. So after they kind of burst their bubble and they're not just going to work on diesel engines, then we generally start, like you say, going back to the basics and teaching them to measure and how to use specialized measuring tools. Communication part is a big aspect of it as well. I mean, what they kind of used to doing, maybe text messaging or text language, doesn't fly in the diesel industry. It's more about how to properly communicate with a customer and be able to tell them what's wrong with their piece of machinery or equipment, and then communicate to them what type of repairs they'll have to take to fix it.
Okay, thank you. So I know that each of your programs has done a really good job kind of forming and developing industry partnerships over the years. Can you give just an example of how industry is integrated into your program, into your curriculum, and how they engage with students? Mr. Bird?
I actually come from industry, so graduating students have skills that are needed that are very important to me and hit close to home. I'll bring in guest speakers to talk on some of the new technology in collision repair, as well as bring back students that have graduated and been successful in industry so they can kind of put into perspective the stuff we cover in the class.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Chase?
Yes. As far as industry goes, we have guest speakers that come into class. They will bring in lots of times job applications to try and recruit new students. We try and go out into industry myself. I try and go out and talk to them and get them to work into internships and job shadowing. And then industry also in the past has also helped us with donations, giving us equipment and cars and things and parts to practice on for students.
Thank you. And Mr. Shipley?
Well, we're steered by our advisory committee, and about all the members off the advisory committee are in industry. So they recommend what training we should be giving the students. And they assist quite a bit. They'll bring in different types of equipment and machinery, and they'll go over, have a guest speaker situation where they discuss all the aspects of the stuff with the students, and they kind of go over how you diagnose it with the students. They've also been very good at giving us donations, as Mr. Chase has stated. We've also integrated a lot of good training equipment into our programs. District been very good at getting us up-to-date training equipment that is basically meets industry standards. That's what's out on the roads today. So we try to train them on late model equipment.
All right, thank you. I guess at this point, I'd just like to ask if you have any kind of closing thoughts. Mr. Bird, do you have any kind of final thoughts about your program?
Program has grown a lot in the last few years, and we've steadily began to upgrade a lot of the older stuff, as Mr. Shipley did. It's getting better and better, but the bottom line is I like students working on cars. I don't like doing little projects and kind of weird things. We like to work on cars. We work on customers' cars, we work on students' cars, we work on other teachers' cars. That's what we do. And that's the bottom line in our shop.
Yeah, I still got a front bumper I need to bring up there sometime, but it's hard when we haven't had the students this year. Mr. Chase, I know we're going to go back and kind of fill in some of these questions a little bit later. I've done my best I could to answer as many of them as possible, but you kind of have any thoughts about your program, the type of student you're looking for?
Well, we've always, I mean, ever from the very beginning when I started teaching, we've always looked for that gearhead. The guy that when he comes in, his hands are dirty and he's working on his own stuff at home and really interested in the program. A lot of students come in that way with already some experience, but we also, the ones that are just exploring, we like to have them in there to see if it's something that they would like to become. And sometimes they'll do that. They'll come in and start learning and become gearheads at home and working on their own stuff. Especially with what's been going on recently, it's really been fun to have the students come in and do nothing but for the short time they were into the class, we've done nothing but labs, working out in the lab. And that's been interesting. It's been a lot of fun, and hoping to maybe incorporate that a little bit more in the coming years when the students do come back.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Shipley, any final thoughts?
Yeah, well, my end result or end goal for the students is to actually have them be good employees, employed someplace they enjoy doing. I get a lot of students that come in, not a lot, but I get several students that come through, and it's just kind of a career exploration to them. It looks interesting. They think they might want to do that. So they try the program out. Some of them really enjoy it. Some of them decide it's not for them. So, but hopefully they make a good choice and that they enjoy their career, whatever it is they do.
All right, thank you. All right, well, thank you if you're here with us live for attending, and those of you watching this on video. If you want any more information, feel free to check out our website. It's raytownschools.org/Herndon. There'll be more information on each program there, as well as some other videos. In addition to that, feel free to reach out through email. My email is nate.zier, that's Z-I-E-R, @raytownschools.org. And I'm sure the teachers would be more than happy to answer some questions as well. If you go to the website and you go to our staff page, the names are all there, and those names are also links for emails. So feel free to email us your questions if you can't find the answer yourself.